We've heard the complaints from the NRA and similar groups about New York's new gun law and what they call its infringement on Second Amendment rights. But what about the other major element of that law, specifically the one that calls for mental health providers to report potentially dangerous patients? Today I found out how the measure aimed at making things better could ultimately make things worse.
Some people, unfortunately are evil people.
In other words, not every person who goes on a shooting rampage suffers from mental illness. That's according to Glenn Lieben of the Mental Health Association of New York State.
People with mental illness are 12 times more likely to be victims of violence than perpetrators of violence.
Lieben takes issue with New York's new SAFE Act, particularly the potential for it to further stigmatize mental illness.
People with mental illness are no more violent than the general population.
If the popular belief is otherwise, he's afraid that
people who need services will not seek services for the fear of the stigma.
Legally, from the doctor's perspective, there are safeguards within the Act that say that they're going to be immune from civil or criminal liability if they do report the issues to the appropriate state officials.
Graig Zappia of Tully Rinky says although legally protected, clinicians have expressed concern the law could prevent open and honest conversation with patients as providers are thrust into the unfamiliar role of trying to predict potential crimes.
It's a very pressure-packed situation and trying to make sure that they err on the side of caution, but at the same time guard against releasing information that's going to prohibit them from treating the patient.
Lieben acknowledges keeping people safe is paramount, but the conversation can't end there.
That is the most important thing, but it also should be a discussion from the mental health perspective about recovery and people moving forward in their lives.
Mental health providers are already required to report specific threats. The SAFE Act further requires them to decide whether a patient has the potential to pose a threat. In such cases, they alert law enforcement who decide what